In this episode, we explore the luxury vessels at the Anacortes Boat Show, including American Tug, Sabre, Coastal Craft, North Pacific, and Nordhavn. We are Malcolm and Rachel, and welcome to our channel. We share everything about our retirement lifestyle. All right, so we're back to talk about more boats. And some of the boats we saw at the Anacortes Boat Show were more luxurious and larger vessels.
Yes.
So there were several Nordhavns there. And so we went actually on a newer Nordhavn 41. And we did see a Nordhavn, I believe it was 41, on the loop in the Trent-Severn Waterway when we were there, but we didn't go on it. So this time we were able to go on and see what it was like in person. And that was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, who can resist going on these luxury boats when they're there?
Yeah.
And in the Anacortes Boat Show, certainly while we were there, there's no lineups, and there's nobody asking you to sign up and sign your life away before you go on to these boats.
Yep.
So it was really accommodating to get on, so we took the opportunity. So the 41, the owner was on it, and we were talking to that owner as well, and it was a beautiful boat.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really nice.
And he said it handled really well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
when he brought it to the show.
He did.
Yeah.
He said it was in big chop and seas coming, and he
Yeah.
didn't feel it. So, you know, Nordhavn is a well-known name. It's got a lot of pedigree. They make all sorts of boats, and it just really depends on what you're looking for and really how big your bank account is as to whether you can afford one.
I think one of the things you really liked is we opened up the hatch in the salon, which was the engine room access.
Yes.
And he looked down there, and I think he was starting to drool a little bit.
Well, I didn't want to drool because I have to clean it up because it is so clean. It was shiny.
Yeah, it had a nice little ladder that went down there, and I don't think you went down to look,
No,
but we sort of stuck our head down and looked, and it was really nice.
The owner encouraged me to go down, and it was hard to resist, but because if I went down there, I probably wouldn't come back up because it was that clean. The headroom was high, and he really maintained it. Now the boat was pretty much brand new as well, but it was really, really something to see. Nordhavn
produces seaworthy, long-range cruising yachts from 41 feet up to an impressive 120 feet. Nordhavn's smallest model is the 41, but it makes no compromise in design or technology. She has a range of 3,000 plus nautical miles and a cruising speed of around 7 knots. She succeeds the Nordhavn 40, Nordhavn's previous smallest vessel, of which 69 hulls were built. The Nordhavn 40 is celebrated for setting the world record for fastest circumnavigation made by a production powerboat. The Nordhavn 41 is available with 2 layouts: a luxurious single-owner's cabin with abundant storage capacity plus a very large head and shower, or a 2-stateroom version for those who might have regular guests or children aboard. We also did see there a Nordhavn 43, but it wasn't for sale and we couldn't have any access to it, so it would have been nice to see that. There was a Nordhavn 76, a huge boat, which we'll show you, so stay tuned to the end of this video to see the Nordhavn 76. The next boat that we saw is an American Tug 435, and this is a really beautiful boat.
It really is.
American Tug is built in Washington State and offers 4 models, the 435 being the largest. Designed for cruisers who want to stay out longer, the 435 features a 2-stateroom, 2-head configuration. The primary stateroom has a beam-to-beam layout with generous storage and an ensuite head. It sleeps 2 more in the guest suite and up to 7 using other spaces. The pilot house offers excellent sight lines, generous spaces, helm chair, and passenger seating with access doors to port and starboard. Powered by a Cummins 500 and 640 U.S. gallon fuel capacity, it has a range of about 1,500 nautical miles. The 435 is a very comfortable vessel for a couple on long cruises. The design is really more for offshore boating, and it's a very solid boat. Lots of really great design features. In thinking about, you know, the movement of the boat, they have the main cabin, I believe, was in the middle of the boat. So that's even better.
So center cabin is really, I think, what most people are looking for when you look at this style of boat, because the motion is less. You feel less of the motion in the boat.
And you don't hear the water on the hull as much.
And the access to the engine is through that center as well. There was still a forward cabin, and I believe there may even be bunks.
I think there were 3 cabins,
Yeah, and the freeboard on these boats, the distance from the water line to the top of the hull is quite high, so you know it's going to be a dry boat when you're out there, not a lot of spray. So they're beautiful boats. We've seen a whole bunch of them on the loop. This is the first one of that size, 43 feet, that we're able to go on to. What I was most impressed with was really the amount of things they could put on that boat for a size of 43 feet.
Yeah.
I know the beam is quite large, but even so, 43 feet, that was impressive how much they put on.
Pretty incredible looking boat, and very comfortable to walk around, and you don't feel unsafe anywhere.
And the finishes were great. The helm and the pilot house was completely outfitted. So, it wanted nothing. But it was, again, these are not boats that are just little coastal boats. These are ones that you could do the loop on. You could be out here, certainly in the Salish Sea.
You could go to Alaska. You could
definitely go to Alaska.
You could go probably across the world in them. Who knows?
Yeah, I doubt that.
As long as you have fuel.
But they're definitely capable boats.
Yeah. We saw other boats that we weren't able to go on, but one of them was the North Sea 62, and this was interesting because it was a steel trawler, and a lot of people were looking at that. I think we thought we'd come back and see it, but we never had a chance to get on there. We also saw a Sabre 43.
Yeah, that's a gorgeous boat.
That's a beautiful boat.
Yeah.
And when we went in there, it was really nicely finished inside. I think you went down into kind of a salon area, and it had all sorts of windows that let natural light in.
Yeah.
And you could even turn that space, I think, into another berth if you needed to.
Sabre has a great name. They have it's a fast hull, so it's not typically a displacement hull. Those boats will get up and go. They've got big engines to really support it. But all the features. So, I mean, you've got all the GPS controls of the engine, so you can basically much GPS hold the boat. It was really quite something to get on it and watch it. Now, the hull is polished blue. The cockpit was gorgeous. Everything was in its place. So, again, you pay for that. These Sabres are not cheap boats, but they're boats that don't have fly bridges, so they really have a really nice cockpit, a really nice salon, and a great entryway back and forth with big double doors.
I think that's a great design, actually, for the West Coast. If you're boating all year, it can be rainy in the winter. And not it can be. It is rainy in the winter. So you don't have to worry about biminis getting wet and leaking. So I think it's a really great design for out here.
Yeah.
And the Sabre itself, even though it's luxurious and it's got all these wonderful features and designs and finishes, it doesn't look imposing. It sort of feels understated, which is kind of nice, actually.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah.
Sabre Yachts produces powerboat models in the state of Maine. Their models range from 38 to 58 feet in length with Salon Express and flybridge variations. They combine the tradition of the Downey style blended with the performance of a contemporary motor yacht. The 43 model remains true to her Downey's heritage without compromising modernization or innovation. Beneath her classic appearance, owners will discover the technology and features of a much larger yacht. Highlights include a spacious salon with 2 banks of seating over 6 feet in length and a half-up galley that incorporates all the amenities of a modern kitchen. Below deck, a versatile hybrid lounge functions as guest berth, private retreat, or home office, depending on her owner's needs. The master stateroom is iconic, featuring an island berth and numerous storage compartments.
So there's 2 other boats that we saw when we were there. These are Canadian boats, and they're aluminum boats. So again, a lot of the previous ones we were talking about were fiberglass, but these are aluminum, and you wouldn't know it by looking at them.
They're called coastal craft.
That's right. And we saw 2 of them. We saw a 45-footer and a 40-footer. And both of them are certainly finished to the highest standard.
Very luxurious inside.
Very luxurious. They go extremely quick. So these are ones that if you want to get up and go, they'll take you there. And all the finishes and the features are really top notch. They're all inboard. So there's no outboard sitting on these. And they're again coastal boats. They're boats that will take you out in these waters, and you can take it in a fairly significant sea and not really feel any kind of hesitation.
And again, designed for more West Coast, wet weather, so there's no biminis, there's nothing to worry about that way.
The top of the salon is usable space, so a lot of people will put their dinghies up top, or they'll certainly put solar panels, they'll put kayaks, so it's usable space.
And they're wide beams too.
Very wide.
Yeah, so very roomy inside.
And the entrance onto them is so easy. I mean, it's the swim platforms are just one step off the dock onto it. They're big and broad, and the access into the cockpit is a big, large door. So it's not difficult to get in and out of these boats when they're sitting at dock.
I couldn't really tell when we were on them at the dock that they were aluminum. You couldn't tell when you got on.
You couldn't.
Yeah, I mean, maybe when you're going, I'm sure they've insulated the hull so you don't have the sound of the water as much, but interesting because it must be quite a bit lighter than fiberglass.
It is lighter, but they do have big big engines in them,
That's true.
and there's two of them.
Yep.
And they do have a lot of features in them, which does add to the weight. However, the comparable boat in fiberglass is going to be heavier.
That's true. Coastal Craft established a reputation as a builder of solid, reliable water taxis and crew boats up and down the coast of BC. They developed new techniques over the years and responded to the demand of luxury pleasure yachts. They were early adopters of smart boat technology, introducing onboard conveniences of touchscreen and remote access regardless of shore power constraints. The award-winning flagship 65 Concorde was introduced in 2014 with 3 staterooms, an enclosed Skylounge, and flybridge with optional hardtop. In 2018, they came full circle and re-entered the small boat market with their exciting 30-foot and 33-foot ProFish models, both with twin outboards. Shortly after, the 33-foot Express Fish was introduced. This exciting new model was an instant hit, and the demand for this line continues. The 45-foot ProFish named Indigo that we toured was splashed in 2018 and has some impressive stats. She runs on twin Volvo 435s and 800 US gallons of diesel with a range of 2,500 nautical miles at 7.5 knots or 650 nautical miles at a running speed of 27 knots. Finally, we saw some really large, very luxurious boats.
It's nice to see those boats so you can get a different perspective on things, even though they may have tremendous, quality and luxury. Some of the things will apply when you get into your own boat that you could make some changes to and adopt. So it was great to see. It's not often you can see boats of this size and caliber all back to back to back, but we took advantage of that.
I mean, these boats that have all these features also have a lot of things that can fall apart and go wrong. So that's one thing we don't have to worry about is all these very luxurious things failing and having all that.
And I think people who buy boats like that, they don't worry about.
They have deep pockets. They don't need to worry about that.
To fill that boat up with diesel is not inexpensive. But if you have 2 fridges and 5 heads, and that the maintenance on that is going to be multiples bigger than if you're just running a Mainship 390 or running a Kingfisher 3025. So they're all scale. But I think most people, when they're buying a Celine or a Nordhavn, they don't really care, what the maintenance is going to be. They're looking for the journey and the destination.
I think most people who are looking at these boats like us are just looking at it in awe.
Yes, I think so. That lottery win, may be coming, and if it does, that's the boat, but otherwise, we'll leave it to others. This 67-foot trawler yacht, designed by Ed Monk Jr., was built in 1982 and is powered by twin Volvo diesels. With 3,000 gallons of fuel, she's capable of making long voyages. She's well laid out, providing 3 cabins and 3 heads, a well-appointed galley, diesel furnace, stabilizers, and all the comforts of home. The pilot house is beautifully finished in rich teak and allows a 360-degree view. Her design allows for complete walk-around, side decks covered in teak. Seeing these larger luxury yachts next to more day-to-day smaller vessels really illustrates the immense difference in size. The second largest boat we saw and were able to tour was the North Pacific 590. And what a boat that was.
Beautiful boat, actually. And this was at the end of the dock, and it had an easy access entrance onto the cockpit at the back.
There was a scale model of the North Pacific under glass in the cockpit, so you could actually see the whole boat as you walk in, and in this miniature, which I've never seen before, which is, I guess, nice to have if you own the boat. But the finishes on the boat were terrific. The wood, the stainless steel, the leather upholstery. It was really quite a boat, and quite a comfortable boat, obviously.
Yeah, and this one was actually finished kind of like that Nordhavn 41 we saw. It was very modern, sleek kind of lines, and clean.
Easy to maintain from a cleanliness standpoint, for sure. Obviously, many systems on board. These are not simple boats to operate. But if you can afford all of those things, as far as maintenance and running this boat, it's a gorgeous boat to use, and something that would, I'm sure, go very well into the Bahamas, down in the Caribbean. It's a super boat.
North Pacific Yachts claim their vessels are built with a focus on achieving the highest level of quality so that your time on the water is safer and more enjoyable. They offer 6 vessels ranging from the 44-foot sedan up to the 59-foot pilot house, but the newest, most recent addition is their flagship 590 Skylounge. The first hull of the 590 has the optional wide-body salon and enclosed Skylounge instead of an open flybridge up top. Power comes from twin 715-horsepower Cummins, producing a top speed of more than 16 knots and a cruising speed of 10 knots. The 590 carries 1,800 gallons of fuel and 400 gallons of water, so owners can plan for a long cruise at a comfortable and safe speed. North Pacific prides itself on working directly with its owners to customize features and layouts. This vessel has 4 levels, starting with the engine room on the bottom, the lower level with the staterooms and heads, the living area with salon, galley, and dinette, and finally the luxurious 4th level Skylounge with pilot house helm and lounge seating.
The beautiful feature about this boat is the Skylounge. They've got a really nice open area up there, plenty of seating, really nice for entertaining if you're traveling with a group of people. That's the center point of this boat.
Yeah, I mean, it's if you really go into that boat, you walk obviously the cockpit, the salon, but that Skylounge is sort of that's the whole central point. It's where everyone would gather.
It's got the best point of view from up there.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
Walking around the exterior felt extremely safe, and the finishing details from seating to cleats was extraordinary.
But there was all sorts of things that we were able to see on this one. We went down, obviously, toward the salon, all the areas where the beds were, and we also went right into the engine room, so we were able to walk into the engine room, look around.
Yep.
It's definitely next level as far as boating.
Some of the rooms are bigger than the rooms in our house.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very much a condo in the water.
Yeah.
I always get a little nervous when I see a boat that size, that cost, and it's floating. And you hope you don't hit something, you hope you don't sink it. It's not like a condo where it's in an apartment building, but the luxury and the finish of this boat was really to behold. It's something that you could live on. It's something that is going to take quite a bit to support from a maintenance standpoint and from just funding it as far as what it eats in diesel.
I think running it, you'd need multiple staff probably too.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of an engineering feat when you go down there and you see all of the valves and the things you have to pull and pull. I mean, multiple tanks. So you're balancing your tanks for diesel. It's something you'd want to really either do a lot of studying on or have someone help you with as far as running the boat. But that being said,
it's an incredible boat.
It was really an incredible boat, and it's something that I think not in our future, but something that if you can afford to have a boat like that and use it, you'd be obviously very happy with going to the Bahamas or going down around the Keys. It'd be a great boat.
On one dock was a privately owned Nordhavn 68, where there were 2 guys right up on the bow installing a new stainless steel anchor chain. As we all know, no matter what size of boat, there are always boat projects. They also had these inflatable fenders, which would be great for any size vessel to save space when deflated, or simply to have as extra fenders. So the last boat that we toured, the largest one, was the Nordhavn 76. What a beautiful boat.
Oh, it really was. I would say probably the most luxurious boat that we looked at this show.
And it was very luxurious inside.
It was.
Yeah. So this is how the other half live.
Yeah, not our half.
No. It had a lot in it.
A lot of features.
Yeah.
A lot of things that are specific to making the owner obviously very comfortable. There was features in that boat that we don't have in our dirt home. Double sinks in the heads, large center cabin.
With this 76 model, Nordhavn has created a small super yacht, which is true to the rugged ocean-going heritage of other Nordhavns, while at the same time stunning in her elegance, fit and finish, systems, and engineering. From entering into the cockpit through the salon, dining area, and galley, into the sleeping quarters, massive master stateroom with luxurious ensuite, to staff and guest quarters, superior craftsmanship is evident throughout.
It was just typical Nordhavn in fit and finish. It had even a walk around in the front, which is all protected. So when you're walking on the outside, just in front of the pilot house, you've got a fully protected area as well. So a beautiful boat, but the pilot house was really quite special.
Yeah, the pilot house, I think it's on maybe the 3rd level. If you think the engine room's at the bottom, and then of course the living space and the main level, and then the pilot house has a huge area for the captain, and then an area to lounge and sit and people to watch where they're going. It had, I guess if you're doing overnight passages, it had its own chart plotting area, little desk area there. It had a separate place to sleep and its own head up there with a full shower, like really very well thought out for long passages.
It was. It allowed the people who are helming, whether it be the captain or the first mate or whoever it may be, to really stay up there and concentrate and focus and monitor all systems on the boat. Because when you sit in that pilot house, you're really looking at the command center for all things. You've got all your screens, you've got all your metering, all your measuring, all happening right there in that pilot house. So it's important if you're underway for a long distance, and Nordhavns are intended to be driven for long passages, so you want to make sure that you've got comfortable crew who are doing that monitoring as they helm the boat. So it's very, very much, designed to support those long passages and have people standing up in that pilot house.
So thanks so much for watching this episode and supporting our channel. We hope you're having a great day.